Sarah had always dreamed of a peaceful weekend getaway. When she found a secluded cabin by the lake, it seemed perfect. A cozy escape from the stresses of city life. The pictures on the rental site showed a quaint wooden cabin surrounded by towering pines, with a crystal clear lake just a few steps away. The place looked serene, untouched, and exactly what she needed. When she arrived, the cabin was exactly as advertised. The air was crisp, and the only sounds were the gentle rustling of leaves and the occasional call of a distant bird. Sarah unpacked, poured herself a glass of wine, and sat on the porch to watch the sunset over the lake. It was idyllic until nightfall. As the sky darkened, a sense of unease crept in. The silence that had been so inviting during the day now felt oppressive. Sarah noticed something strange. The lake, which had been calm earlier, now had ripples that seemed too large to be caused by the gentle breeze. But there was no wind now, and the trees stood still. Dismissing her discomfort as nerves, Sarah decided to turn in early. She locked the door, checked the windows, and climbed into bed. The old mattress creaked beneath her, but she eventually drifted off to sleep. She woke in the middle of the night to a soft splashing sound. At first she thought it was a dream, but as she lay there listening, the splashing grew louder, more rhythmic. It was coming from the lake. Sarah hesitated, her heart pounding, but curiosity got the better of her. She slipped out of bed, wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, and quietly opened the front door. The moonlight illuminated the lake, and what she saw made her blood run cold. Something, or someone, was standing in the water. It was too dark to make out details, but the figure was tall, with long, stringy hair hanging over its face. Its arms were outstretched, and it appeared to be dragging something through the water, creating the splashing noise that had woken her. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She watched, frozen, as the figure slowly turned its head in her direction. Though she couldn't see its eyes, she knew it was staring right at her. The figure began to move toward the shore, toward the cabin. In a panic, Sarah slammed the door shut and locked it. Her hands trembled as she fumbled for her phone, but there was no signal, no way to call for help. She backed away from the door, her mind racing. She needed to hide, to find a weapon, anything. Then she heard the wet, squelching footsteps on the porch. The door rattled as something heavy pressed against it. The old wood creaked under the pressure, and Sarah knew it wouldn't hold for long. She ran to the kitchen, grabbing the largest knife she could find. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for a place to hide, but there was nowhere safe. The door burst open with a splintering crash, and the figure stepped inside. It was even more horrifying up close. Its skin was pale and bloated, with patches of decayed flesh hanging from its bones. The hair was matted with mud and algae, and a rancid smell filled the room. Sarah clutched the knife, her knuckles white. The figure moved slowly, methodically, as if savoring the moment. It reached out with a skeletal hand, and Sarah slashed at it wildly, the blade slicing through the air. But the figure was relentless. It knocked the knife from her hand with inhuman strength, sending her crashing to the floor. As she scrambled to her feet, the figure loomed over her, its cold, dead eyes locking onto hers. It reached out again, this time grabbing her by the throat. Sarah gasped for breath, her vision blurring as she struggled to break free. But the figure's grip was like iron. Everything went black. When Sarah's body was found days later, floating in the lake, it was pale and bloated, just like the figure she had seen that night. The locals whispered of a curse, of a restless spirit that haunted the lake, dragging unsuspecting victims to a watery grave. The cabin is still there, waiting for its next guest, but no one stays there for long.